Happy days, here we are, and welcome to another, here we go, Extreme Business Set Mind series. Yes, Extreme Business Set Mind series, and I am, of course, with the wonderful, amazing, the only mind in the world is Lee Tony Ware, and we've got a fantastic 40 minutes ahead of ourselves with you guys. And today, again, Lee doesn't know what it is we are talking about this morning or the subject, but here it is. I've got it written down here, and just for the viewers, they say, well, Paul, what are you doing when you're looking down? Well, actually, I'm taking notes. I have to take notes, listeners, as we go through, because Lee goes so fast that I take notes in order for me to come in and just disrupt it a little to I don't know, to edge the conversation, or maybe steer another way. So I am scribbling notes all the time as we speak, and I'm often highlighting and things like this. So yeah, that's where we are. So this week's subject is, here we go, is the present and future. How do they marry? Now, the reason why I want to bring this is, from my part, is that people often, I mean, my wife is a life strategist, so she works a lot on the how that part of your life affects this part of your life. But also, there's other ways of looking at this. Does it need to affect it? Should it? How does the first 15 years of our life play out in all of our life? How do we share in life to have a share of life? All these things are so important, but I know we're going to get a spin on it today, a way of thinking about it today that you guys out there would not have got from the wonderful, amazing, of course, Lee Tony Ware. So, Lee, let's look again to the present and future. How do they marry? How do they synergize?
Right, good. You left, in my head, you probably left the key part out of it, the past. Okay. Yeah. Because if we're at present, yeah, if we are truly present, then what is our past? Because how do we get to this moment? Yeah. And how will we get to the next moment and the next moment? So, and there's so many different takes on it, but how do you take the noise away and get to the heart of it all, so you can separate? So when you're thinking something or somebody's speaking something, because it's not just, am I present? If I'm present and I'm with nobody, then I'm grounded, I'm here. But then if I'm in my thoughts, yeah, or in my images in my mind, the movie screen of the mind, or if I'm in my emotions or my spirit or my biology, my gut, then what part of me is unpresent, not just not present?
Wow.
Yeah, because people don't.
Unpresent. What do we mean by unpresent?
Well, it's what is present. I mean, first of all, what is present? Because if to be unpresent, it's a bit like people talk about police opinions, and I'm not going off. I'm coming back. Yeah. Beliefs, opinions, and thoughts. Like, and they go, well, I think X. Oh, brilliant. In my opinion, X. Oh, brilliant. My belief is X. Oh, brilliant. Yeah, and it's like they have the right to have that, and loads of people would argue they have the right to have that thought and that opinion and that belief. If it stays within their being, they have that right. If they want to bring that thought, that opinion, that belief into society or into a company or into a family, then it should have substance for everybody else. Otherwise, it's ego. I want it done my way. My thought is this, and you should do my thought, or you're denying me. Well, what about my thought? Where's the collaborative union? So if we're present doesn't mean to say I have my thoughts materialize in other people's minds, or I have my beliefs, or my opinions, because it's a bit like everybody. You're going, well, I love pepperoni pizza. My belief is pepperoni pizza is the best. Yeah. In my opinion, everybody should eat it. So now we're going to bring a law in where everybody eats pepperoni pizza. Yeah, well, hang about, I don't even like breads. Well, no, pepperoni pizza, and I ask Paul, it's brilliant. And they think because somebody else concurs their thought, their opinion, or their belief, that it becomes real. Yeah. Even worse, if the person who concurs with you has a title, I don't just mean king, queen, prince, lady, whatever. I mean, somebody that has some form of authority, because you take away the title, you're just talking to another human. So what's this got to do with being present? Well, who takes your presence away? You or somebody else? Because there's actually, well, if it's in our case here, there's three worlds. There's your skin in your internal world, my skin in my internal world, and the real world, the space in which we communicate. The real world is where something can be referenced, yeah, and seen. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So in the real world, it exists. A thought, a belief, or opinion doesn't exist without collaboration, unification of other thoughts, opinions, and beliefs. However, anytime you're in a thought, opinion, or a belief, you're not actually in the truth. You're in a thought, opinion, or belief.
Wow. Wow.
Which means you've never found a sweet spot in society, the sweet spot in a community, the sweet spot in a family, if you're just within the mix of other people's thoughts, opinions, and beliefs.
Wow.
So what is present? Well, present isn't being present and listening to you. That's listening to you. Listening isn't present. Yeah.
Wow. Let me come in on that, because I want to come back, because people say you have to be present, which gives the opinion of you have to be there consciously in that environment where you are listening in present without monkey chat going on.
You got it.
We're saying that's just listening.
No, that's just listening.
Wow.
That's just listening. I mean, so if we looked at it this way, so if I'm present and I haven't got the monkey chat going on, that's my auditory. So I might be on the movie screen of my mind, and I might be like watching, converting what Paul's saying into images and running it through and then coming up with a different image. Yeah, I'm not sure I like that one. It looked better this way.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got to get off the movie screen of our mind as well. And then I mightn't like, see, because there's the left brain, there's in the auditory, let's say, the right brain, the imagination, the thoughts, the images. But then we still got the emotions, we still got the physical feelings, and we still got that excitement or lack of it, that chi energy. So you might be saying something, and people tell you where they are. They go, well, yeah, that doesn't make sense to me, Lee. That means I can't convert that audio correctly into my system of logic. Yeah, I can't see that, Lee. On my movie screen in the mind, I can't get clear focus on it. Yeah, I'm not sure I like that, Lee. Oh, emotionally, you don't like it. I'm not sure that feels right to me. It sort of it gives me a funny feeling, like a sickly feeling. Oh, so your biology doesn't like it. Yeah, I'm not sure that I'm comfortable with that. See, that's biology, comfortable. Yeah, well, I'm not. Yeah, that wouldn't excite me. That's my spirit energy, and people I don't think can separate.
Is this influenced, Lee, by your past, by your past experiences, past biology? Do you think?
Well, it can be. It depends on if you're running organically, as in what some might call nature, nurture, conditioning. And I mean, and if I'm really, if I'm so transparently, if I really go into,
go for it.
Yeah, it's all the conditioning, Paul.
Yeah.
And just that, all the conditioning. No, it ain't all the conditioning, because as soon as I say it's all the conditioning, I give up my authority. It's all the programming, Paul. Well, what if I believe it's all the programming? Then I'll give up my authority. I'm no longer present. So if somebody says, well, it's the conditioning, yeah, it's the education system. Now, there are certain bits of information where you can have that conversation. However, if I say I am conditioned, then I'm not present. I've been conditioned, I'm not present. So it doesn't matter how many times you meditate, how many times you go for walks, you might be present in that moment.
Yeah.
Walking, smelling the country air, feeling the wetness of the air, listening to the woodpecker or the cuckoo, whatever. And but no, you're listening to the cuckoo. That isn't presence either. That's awareness.
Wow. That makes so much sense. That makes so much sense.
And people think listening to the cuckoo is being present. No, that's outside. Unity, presence is outside and inside, past, present, future, all gone. and there's just the now.
Mm-hmm.
You think that's the present? No, no. Now, and bear in mind I have dyslexia, now is spelt Y-O-U.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Now is spelt L-I-F-E. That's the biological part of you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If your life form is present and your future isn't dictating, and you're not in fear, doubt, and insecurity, or I must get here, I haven't got time, Paul, I've got to get here. If the future's not calling and there's no drama in the future, I've got to meet Paul. Yeah, I better say this to him. He's not going to like that. Yeah, so he'd be unhappy if I say that. So I'll say it this way, and that'll soften it. And if we're in those conversations, we're not even having a present conversation with Paul when I meet Paul. I'm imagining and thinking on my behalf within the avatar I have of Paul around what I think Paul will like and dislike. Then I show up with my pre-scripted conversation to control Paul. And I think I'm being nice.
Man, that's so true. So
how can I be nice?
Wow.
So if I'm not going to have a real conversation, what's a real conversation? Presence. Let Paul speak for Paul. Now, if I've wound myself up in my present because of my future and then moved into that future to talk with Paul, I'm just bringing that energy that I created an hour ago to the present, and now I'm talking to Paul. I'm not even giving Paul the authority to show up as Paul.
Lee, that's profound. Let me just absorb that. That is probably one of the most profound things I've heard in my 55 years of life. That makes so much sense. You know, this will fall into, if you're someone that overthinks and a huge imagination, that has those worrying, all those excessive emotional processes that create an overthinking has now come to a pinhead for me, where it's like, Paul, you're already creating the outcome before you even got there.
And then you want, if Paul doesn't get, how did your chat go with Paul? Well, I mean, I was taken aback, really. Why? Well, he wouldn't listen. How do you mean he wouldn't listen? Well, what I expected to happen didn't happen. Oh, you expected to write the script and not give Paul the lines? Because that's what expectations are. Paul's in this soap opera script, and he's showing up, right, I'm meeting Lee, brilliant. How you doing, Paul? Yeah, I want to talk about such and such, such and such. All right. Yeah, I never had a night. I mean, I don't even know what the topic is today. I mean, that's how present we are.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I'm not in my head thinking, yeah, I can't say that. Can't say that. I'm not, and hear it the right way. I'm not worried about what I say. Mm-hmm. I'm not scared about what other people will think about it. Because if I do, I'm thinking on their behalf, and I'm going into the future. I'm neutral. I'm present. So you're present, Lee, and everybody else isn't. Oh, you can go into the ego and compete. Mm-hmm. Competitions are on the track or on the field. Ain't in a conversation.
Wow. How much, can I say discipline, emotional discipline did it take, Lee, for you to say, you know, I'm just me. I'm in me. I'm neutral?
It's a good question. I suppose I had a unique cooking pot, I would say, but can I get caught sometimes? Yes. What I've learnt, and it comes back to presence, and this could be heard in an arrogant way or a egotistic way. In my reality, notice I didn't say in my opinion. In my reality, it's not. Some people aren't aware they're on organic life script and they're in the defense, or denial mode, and they have an avatar of you. People seem to build this avatar. Yeah, there's no point in talking to Lee. He won't listen to me. No point in talking to Lee. He thinks he knows better. And people have all these things where people say to me, Lee, sometimes, and there's probably people who listen to this, what do you think, Lee? Yeah, I don't give thoughts much credence, really. I can tell you what I know.
Oh, wow. That's huge. I can tell you what I know what I think.
Yeah.
They're different then.
You got it. Oh, big different. Oh, for example, what's your name? What's your name?
Paul.
Do you think your name's Paul? Do you believe your name's Paul? Is it your opinion your name's Paul? Yeah. Do you think your name's Paul? Do you believe your name's Paul? Is it your opinion your name's Paul? Or do you know your name's Paul?
I know my name is Paul.
Right, now you know the difference between a thought, a belief, an opinion, and a knowing. Now, a lot of people confuse a knowing as a truth. Well, it's my truth. It's my truth. I'm entitled to that. No, that's just the way you have put the jigsaw together, the Lego house together. You've got 6 bricks on the left, 6 red bricks on the left-hand side, and you say that's your truth. No, there's personal truth, which is your concept of life from your experience and your data. That isn't the truth. Well, I'm entitled. No, you're not. That's like saying everybody should eat pepperoni pizza.
Yeah.
And everybody should subscribe to your truth and deny their truth. That's conflict.
Wow.
That's conflict. To have your truth and me to have my truth, well, it's my personal truth. Fair enough. And it's Paul's personal truth. Fair enough. How do we collaborate when we got 2 truths that we believe to be true? Bear in mind, you can't have a truth that believes to be true, because beliefs are actually lies. Beliefs are the barriers to the truth. Beliefs are the consequences of us not knowing the truth. If beliefs were true, they'd be called the truth, but then in fact they're called belief. And in the word belief or believe is the lie, L-I-E, that lies within. Beliefs are a piece that's missing. That's why they're called belief. I believe. It means it has no substance. It can't be referenced, can't be seen. Well, it can be concurred, yeah, but just because a like-minded individual justifies it, I think, leaves, right? The truth can be referenced and will stand the test of time and will be unifying. But personal truth will be denying and lying and conflicts. But the truth, the sun will come up tomorrow. You're going to draw your next breath. You're there, I'm here. We're speaking in a virtual world, none of which can be denied, none of which can be called a lie. The truth, nobody. They might like it. They might like it, the emotional feeling of it. They might like the reality, as in the biology. But the truth will always stand the test of time. So, for example, I offer a reward and say the subconscious mind doesn't exist. Doesn't exist. No, it doesn't exist. And it's as true as I sit before you, as true as the sun will come up tomorrow. And I'm that confident, because a lot of people think it's my point of view, my opinion, my belief.
Yeah.
My thought. No, it's not. I'm so confident in it, confident being every part of my, because what is confidence? Every part of my existence, unified, as YOU, as me, present. And I'm so confident in it that I offer a reward to be proved wrong. I love to be wrong, because when I'm wrong and somebody gives me the right, I learn. I love learning. But all I ask is, and it's a €1,000 reward, all I ask is this. Out of all the billions of autopsies that's been done, and that will be done, out of all the scans that's been done, and has been, and will be done, and the new scans, like an ultrasonic scan, whatever, whatever technology they do, digital apparatus scan, whatever new thing that's coming, all I ask is that you show me the subconscious mind. Show it to me pickled in a jar like I can see a brain, or show it to me as like some form of scan, a real scan, not a sci-fi Photoshop type, AI type creation, a real scan where I can see it. Because if it's real, it can be seen, whether internally, your heart's real. I don't need to see your heart to know you've got one. Excuse me. I don't need to see that you, have you ever had any operations on your kidneys, Paul? No, then I know you've got 2 of them, not unless you had one when you were born, or 3. But on that, if I follow the default pattern of humans, you've got 2. How is this relevant to presence? Well, how can you be present if you're just in a thought? How can you be present when you're fighting your opinion, as in pushing it on someone else? How can you be present when all you want to communicate is what you believe? The truth is presence.
If we are, if we are 100% truthful in our day, and truth also is something I believe takes practice, because so many people avoid the absolute truth as to, you know, their own life, whether it's journey, whether it's, you know.
And just being truthful doesn't mean you be disrespectful. Being truthful doesn't mean you're denying, because some people believe that telling their, well, I think this of you, Paul, it'd be dishonest of me not to tell you. Well, that's you sharing a thought of me.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever reason that thought with reason to develop an opinion of me? Did you ever then check the opinion and go into your imagination? Does that look right? Let me look at it from a different perspective, because that's perspective. See, perspective is a visual term. Yeah, well, it looks good and it sounds good because that's an opinion. We logically reason it, and then how does that feel? Now we go down into our heart. Well, I don't feel that Paul will like it if I said it to him. I feel if somebody said that to me, it would emotionally hurt me.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so how can I speak the truth, not my opinion, my thought? How can I speak the truth to Paul in a way that serves Paul, not in a way that serves me? Because if you're only speaking the truth to harm Paul, deny Paul, to make Paul look stupid, to make Paul feel, bear in mind, Lee said this to me, and he made me feel very unhappy. Oh, so what he said to you attacked you emotionally. What Lee said to me was so uninspiring. Oh, so it attacked your spirit. What Lee said to me made me really feel like, oh, just exhausted. Oh, so it attacked your biology. When we have these feelings, what feelings are we having? Because there's only three.
Yeah.
Spiritual, physical, emotional. Now, it made me real like, so if I put them, normally they compound out. I can't believe what Lee said to me. I mean, it just took my breath away. Oh, it hit you right in the biology first. Brilliant. And it just took my breath away, and I just felt so unhappy. So unhappy. Oh, so it hit you physically, because it took your breath away. That's a physical term. And it then made you feel unhappy. And I just didn't have any energy for the day at all. I mean, so it made you feel that you shouldn't be proud of yourself, made you feel that you had no value. So it attacks your spirit energy, your chi. And then how did you think about, imagine yourself, because if we run through it, people will tell you, X said this to me, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. Hit me like a ton of bricks. Physical term.
Mm-hmm.
X said something to me. Oh, I mean, my happiness went out the window. My heart was ripped, torn to pieces. Heart, you think, is a physical term. No, it's an emotional term. And we've got to hear the language we're using to express the pain, discomfort, or joy, or happiness. Oh, I'm so happy. I'm so excited. What's the difference between the words? Well, happiness is emotion, excitement is spirit, chi. But what we do, and we go, this is back to our topic, presence. And if I listen to it just in an organic conversation and I'm saying this, it's not me. You'll hear this today. You'll hear it wherever you are this afternoon in some form or shape or other. I'm really looking forward to Saturday night. Yeah. Or how did your weekend go? Yeah, no, it wasn't that great. I thought you were really looking forward to going to that club. Yeah, I was. It wasn't what I expected. Now, that's on the record as in recorded. Now let's run it back. Yeah, how was your weekend? Yeah, no, not so good. I thought you were going to that club. You told me you were going to that club and you were really looking forward to it. You were so excited. I know, but it wasn't what I expected. Oh, so your excitement was took because what you imagined and what you expected didn't show up.
Wow, I see that.
And because reality didn't play to your script, you were disappointed.
In some ways, that reality to our script is so selfish also.
Right.
Because we then crack as blame culture, because we are blaming out to life then for what we are not experiencing.
Now, if we take that into business, good communication and good let's call it marketing or brand, is true. It's not fluffy words to catch people's attention. It's not look over here while I do this. It's not the magician reality. It's not smoke and mirrors. True essence, true substance in a true brand.
Yeah.
It has to cover all 5 parts. It should make sense. It should be able to be seen outside, like this pen, and inside. Wow. Shouldn't be able to be imagined in a different way. It should create joy or happiness, or at least be neutral. Yeah, because you can say, well, Lee, what if you're selling bricks? How can you make happiness out of bricks? Well, that's the brick. When the brick serves its purpose and is put together with all the other bricks, you don't think homes are happy. Mm-hmm. What do bricks do? They build. What do they build? They build caves. They look a bit different nowadays. They have windows and doors. They don't just have one big opening. What do you mean build caves? Well, they're only a cave unless you bring your spirit, your emotion, your thoughts. You think about how can we have a decent family unit? How do we stop everybody's thoughts and opinions and beliefs conflicting with each other? Mm-hmm. Be a bit like, bear in mind, Ros and I got an army of kids. What do you want for dinner? I want pizza, Mum. Oh, brilliant. That's brilliant. And we'll put pizza on. What pizza? I don't want pepperoni. Yeah, we've only got pepperoni. You can take the pepperoni off. No, it's not the same, Mum. It's a margarita with the pepperoni. No, it's not. But I'll have the pepperoni. Yeah. And like when you're serving up for like 10 or 11 or 13 people, it's a lot different than when you're trying to serve up for your own life. Now, when we're 16, 15, 21, yeah, I'm going out on the journey of life, yeah. I'm going to get me education and I'm going to sail through it. Yeah, dad or mum, they don't know what they're doing, whatever. And it ain't like that, see. And this, it's a presence. If you're in your education and you're quoting the manuscripts you've read, that isn't present. Don't rely on community. Don't rely on education for life. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So many people went through life without knowing how to count 1 + 1 is 2, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They didn't need any systems. Yeah, bear in mind, education is only a new thing. Everybody talks about it like it's been around for centuries. No, up to 1497, that was when the printing press was developed, there was 7 books in existence. And 7 books up to 1497. And if those 7 books were read, you were the most educated person in the world. But only kings, queens, and scholars, as in like monks, because everything was hand painted and drawn. Mm-hmm. And correlated, yeah. So there was only 7 books, and one of those was the Bible. After 1497, when the printing press came in, because before that, in history, people used to say that these kings and queens and princes and all the people and the monks and everyone that was in control were in control because they had special information. Yeah, and then I mean, yeah, then the printing press came out and loads of people couldn't read or write. I mean, you've probably seen it in the films, all the people going on the ships and they go, sign your name there, and they go, okay. And that was the common signature. X. X marks the spot. So only around the turn of...
Is that where that comes from?
No, well, it's the treasure map, X marks the spot. But it's a bit like you could say, I do it in seminars. What's your X factor? What's your X factor? Write it down now. What is your X factor? And they write it down. And I say, right, who wants to share? It could be like, I don't know, 50, 100 or whatever in the room. And the pads go up me and they stand up and they share. Brilliant. And they go, my X factor is I'm really good with people. And I go around, anyone else yet? And I said, brilliant. That isn't your X factor. That's your tick factor. Yeah, your X factor is the things you're no good at.
Wow.
Because when they gave you that big red X and you say, well, what's this got to do with Presence League? Well, when you got that big red X, I'll tell you, they took you out of you very quick. And you might say, oh, no, you're just saying that. No. anybody's opinion or mark on you, whether it's physical or emotional, spiritual or intellectual, or it's an imagined one, is their opinion.
Yeah.
When we're in an education system or life or an office environment, when we go to work and we're getting paid a salary, let's say, or we run in a business and we're selling our wares or services to the or products to the marketplace, we can say, oh, I don't like that client. Well, what is it the client actually wants that they thought they were going to get from you? Well, their expectations are too high. Well, in what way? Their expectations are too high. So what or who, or did you communicate? Did one of your salespeople communicate? One of your team communicate something that gave them a false illusion in their minds, and that they expected something different from you? And if you said to the client, rather than, well, it really makes me feel uncomfortable personally, or uncomfortable in the commerce transaction, I just think he expects too much from the company. Or I sold him some cloths and he expected the cloths to be able to clean 1,126 windows, and they only cleaned 1,125.
Yeah.
It's so particular, it had to be exact. So some people are particular because they might linearly, logically reference it in a different way. They have different data. So where's the conflict? Is the conflict in the linear logical data? Is the conflict in what they imagined and it doesn't fit reality? As in, well, I expected it to be blue, Lee.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, that's all right. We can change the colour. Well, you sent me a box of 100 black pens, and I expected them to be blue pens. Well, that's fine. I can just get them back from you and send you 100. Well, no, they're here now. I suppose if you make a discount on the next order, well, no, I can't do that.
Yeah.
I'm offered to put myself out and change it. There was a miscommunication. We do have normally in our process and systems, what colour pen or ink do you want? I didn't expect the brand to be down this part. I expected it to be around this part. Well, that's clear communication. You can't do business on expectations. You do business on agreements.
Can I jump in on that? Because you said just there, clear communication. I want to come back to something we touched on just a few minutes ago, which was education. And this really intrigues me because I'm a big believer school teaches you what to think, not how to think. And also, we look at that what to think, which effectively, we go to school for the first quarter of our life, and we are learning to calculate our life from the way we are taught at school, which teaches us what to think, not how to think. And do you think that, do you feel, Lee, that this
do I think or do I feel? Which one, or both?
Well, here's the thing. I'm still learning the integrity of how I speak with you to make sure I can hit the right pinheads of conversation. And we are growing into that, so bear with me. Because here's the thing is that, I suppose, in my language, what I'm saying is that we go to school, it teaches us what to think. And that effectively is calculating how we live our life. Then we leave school, and then we are having to learn how to think. Which effectively, how to think means that we are speaking from the inner of us when we calculate our life from what to think, which we learned at school. We are then calculating from what is perhaps our logic mind of 1 and 1 is 2, 2 and 2 is 4, with no emotion in the middle.
Well, if I spoke to you, if I had that conversation with you, say 10 or 15 years ago, I would probably agree with you near enough 100%, which means I would have similar thoughts, opinions, feelings, beliefs, imagination. I wouldn't see it that way now. I wouldn't think about it that way now. I wouldn't emotionally feel about it that way now. Because if we're in sync, every part of my existence should line up. So on the surface, I would say it could be seen that way. For example, it depends. If you go back to the beginning, because how is this to do anything with presence? It has everything to do with presence. What takes your presence away? If you have a thought that disrespects you, then you're not present. Because now, and then you got, well, how do I sort it? Well, fair enough. What part is that thought or that word from another human that expresses their thought? Because that's all the word is, expressing somebody else's thought or opinion as a perspective. What part is it unsettled? Well, I feel really hurt. Yeah, but which hurt? Physical hurt or emotionally hurt? Well, they're the same, aren't they? Well, no. Hurt is actually a physical word, so you can't be hurt emotionally. You can be disrupted emotionally, but you can't be hurt emotionally.
Yeah.
Hurt is a physical term. You cannot heal emotionally because heal is a physical term. You cannot scar emotionally because scar is a physical term. Mm-hmm. And we take language. My heart is broken in a million pieces. Show it to me. Oh, go away. You're not empathetic. Well, no, I'm not going to buy into your reality that your heart is broken in a million pieces. My emotions feel like they're all over the place and scattered into a million pieces. I hear that, and that makes sense to me. But your emotions cannot be broken into a million pieces. However, that's the metaphor we use, and that's the script, the unwritten language that we correlate together with all these little metaphors, and we use words to put it together. So, yes, the teacher in some way is responsible, but I think it's deeper than that. I don't think it's the teacher. And if we went right back to the beginning, I mean, what university did the first professor go to?
Oh, wow. That's such a big question.
Yeah. What college did the first doctor go to?
Yeah.
What school did the first teacher go to? You got to hear it.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you what happened is the wisest people of the time they looked at and how they knew these were wise people. It weren't that they were just clever. Clever is left brain thinking, logic, reason. Yeah, it wasn't that they were good at creating imagination in their mind. For some people, you've got different talents, see. A wise person is not necessarily a very educated person. A wise person knows how to take what they've got and compound it into something it's not. Mm-hmm. Something of substance, something that will serve, something that will protect, something that will make the next moment better than the last. Wow. So what they done was that the teachers at the time were the people that could stop bad things from happening. The leaders at the time were people that could stop bad things from happening. A good leader is a protector. A good leader is a predictor of the future. This will most likely happen in seasons gone by at this time of year, coming up to this time of year, these things happened. The village got flooded. So before that time comes again, we're going to move our village to slightly higher ground. Well, I think it's going to take a lot of effort, yeah, but otherwise everything's going to be destroyed. We're going to have, like, John last year was coughing because he woke up and all the laying in the water. So we're going to move to higher ground. So somebody remembered and then correlated what was happening and then came up with, do you know what I think we should do? It's rather than using a rock to bang them spikes in, we're going to take this, we're going to get the rock, put it in the fire, get that runny stuff that comes out, and we're going to put it in a mold, and we're going to make a hammer. I mean, just look at your windows. Where did glass come from? I remember a story I was told at school, I don't know how true it was, when I was about 6. I thought it was amazing because I could see it in my head because I was being educated, left brain and right brain. They're telling me a story, it's a whole in assembly, about glass. Not glass like a glass you drink, glass is in it goes in the window. And the question to the assembly was, how did they invent glass? I mean, how did these innovative moments happen? Well, the story goes, and this is how I'm near enough verbatim because I'm there. I'm like about 6 in my short pants, and the story goes. At that moment, I've got no images on the TV screen in my mind. I'm just waiting, like I'm sitting there in the little rocking chair, with my short pants up, sucking my thumb. Come on, tell me. Well, there was these 3 men that were traveling through the desert. on their camels. Now I can see the three men. I'm sure you can. Yeah, and they've got these turbans on, and they've got these long robes on, and they're on the camels, and they're riding through. And then they pulled up in an oasis, and they got off and tied the camel off, got out of the camel up, got their water, and they lit a fire. And they're chatting around the fire, eating their dinner, and the chap said, "What's that there?" One of the boys, or one of the men, "What's that there?" "I don't know." Anyway, the next morning, when the fire had gone cold and that, the chap picked "What's that" up, because it didn't have a name then. It's "What's that?"
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit like they reckon the chap who invented the umbrella, they reckon it was going to be called Brella. When he was asked what it was, he hesitated. "What are you going to call it?" "Brella." So "What's that" was all it was called. It didn't have a name, see? So it was cool, and he picked it up, and it was cool. It's cut me because the sand melted from the heat and made glass. And then somebody, after a while, worked out the ingredients that made it. They realized it could be molded into any shape. Obviously, over the years, then people perfected the art. But somebody first had to discover it. So now, I don't know whether the story's true, but I was told that at about 5 or 6 years old. It's not verbatim, but it's close. But I could see it on the movie screen of my mind, and I can reference it back, and I can compound that data if I want. I can think, well, yeah, I wonder if I got some lit a fire in a load of sand, would I get glass? So if I want to validate that information and see if the story has any truth to it at all, I can get a bag of sand. I can put it out. Now, I wouldn't go with playpen sand. It's very fine. I'd say it's more grit than it is of whatever else. And I can get it there. You know the sand bits with the little glittery bits in? I can put that, yeah, in a fire pit. And I can light a fire on it. I can probably put some coal embers in and get it really hot. And then I can look at the afters and take away, because that's what science is.
Yeah.
Science should be to find the truth in our thoughts, find the truth in our observation, find the truth in our opinions. But when we get science lining up with an agenda, that isn't science, that's control. Mm-hmm. When we get education lining up with an agenda, that's not education, that's indoctrination. Education is to give the human the ability to think for themselves, to communicate on their own behalf. Communicate does not mean control, does not mean like to push their agenda. You must eat pepperoni pizza. No, it's to express where you are. And then somebody else expresses where they are. Now, they might realize, well, yeah, I don't know anything about that subject, Lee. Well, that's irrelevant. Well, no, I can't convert. No, I just need somebody to bounce it off. Tell me what you think, honestly. Don't validate me, because I'm not interested in what I think. I want to get a result. I want my family to be happier, healthier, more secure, safer. And I assume, rationally in my mind, that every father and mother and guardian wants anyone they care about to be happy, safe, secure. Yeah, I don't want conflicts in my family. I don't want conflicts in my community. I don't want conflicts in my... Well, everybody's got a different opinion, Lee. I mean, you can't keep everybody happy. Oh, you can if their opinion means nothing to them.
There it is.
So presence, let go of everything you know. So I'll give it to you this way. And I don't know. Lee Tunnyware doesn't know how to express it. Lee Tunnyware knows what it means to Lee Tunnyware. Yeah. I know what this coffee tastes like. I can describe it to you. But if you've never tasted coffee, you ain't got a clue.
Yeah.
I'll say I like one sweetener. Now, I don't have sugar because I'm getting to that age where like I'm getting bigger than I want to be. But the point is this, yeah, and it depends what part of us. So first of all, presence. I do it sometimes in the room, and I have 3 flip charts. On one flip chart, the first one, so you've got to be looking at it like this way. So on this side, on the left, as we read from left to right, first flip chart, number 1, I write past on it. And I go, right, everybody, if that's the past, then I skip the middle one and go all the way to the right one. If that's the past over there, what's this here? And they go, future. I say, oh, fair enough. If that's the past and that's the future, what's the middle one? And they go, the present. And I go, yeah, let's agree that that's it. But let's go to the middle one again. Yeah.
Yeah.
And imagine the word present didn't exist. What could it be? Then they go, the now. I'll go, right, let's imagine that isn't our option either. We can't have present or now. What is it? I'll say, have 2 minutes, have a chat amongst yourselves. And they come back and they go, well, it's present. It means nothing. I say, oh, yeah, it's Y-O-U. That's what now is. That's what present is. Y-O-U. However, if you're in your head and you think you're right and you're pushing that, you haven't created presence and unity between 2 yous.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
You and I. Because collaboration, unification, respect is being able to have a conversation without fear or without going like, well, oh, I agree with you, Paul. I agree with you, Paul. Yeah, that's really clever, Paul. Yeah, thank you. And then Paul goes off. Paul's got those feelings of pride. Well, I had a chat with Lee today. He said, I'm really clever. I get off the call and I go, how'd you get on with Paul? Ross says to me, and I go, well, into you. Do you know what the bloke said? Now, if you're two-faced,
yeah,
that isn't presence either. That is actually worse. I mean, not being respectful and saying, Paul, what do you think, Lee? Yeah, I wouldn't think about it that. I would not think about it that way. It's not a disrespectful statement. And I'm not sure I'm getting all the data, Paul. Like, if you, I get that you're still trying to work it out. Happy to help you do that, but I don't know how to. If you're asking for my judgment, my opinion, I haven't got enough data. But I do know this: you're a very clever guy, and I do know if you keep you focused on it, you keep focused on that, and reason it through and articulate it, where another human can understand you. I'd say if it's important to you, that, yeah, 3 months from now, that might have a hell of a lot of impact once you do what you do.
I see.
But where you are at the minute, I can't hear it fully. I can't see it. I can't feel it. Why is that relevant? Because today there will be rows, there'll be disagreements, there'll be people leaving their job, there'll be people saying, you know, that John, we got rid of him finally. Oh, my God. What was so wrong with John? Well, we just wouldn't follow the system. Oh, now, back to what you said about education. Education's one thing. Education system is another. System means control.
Yeah.
Now, it's not to control you. It's control to enable them to follow a system, an order, a sequence, a data. But you can't allow data to take the personality away. And you can't have teachers that educate their opinion. Because the kids, and just to end on that, and I know we're at time in a sense, my little boy came in, and bear in mind, this could be a political statement. It's not. It's just to explain what happened. What I'm going to say gives no alliance to any political party now or in the future. That's the disclaimer, and it's true. True meaning, that's my right hand, that's my left. Yeah, that's true. My little boy Josh come in. He's 18 at the minute. He plays for Connacht Rugby. He's just left this morning at about 6:30 for rugby training. He has to drive like about an hour and a half to get there. He come in. I don't know what age he was, and this is what I mean. It's 11, 12, something like that. And he said, and he looked really down. His shoulders were down and everything. And he should have been at a spring in his step. I mean, and he weren't in short trousers like me. He had long ones on. I said, what's up, mate? Oh, nothing. I said, no, go on, what's up? And that's being present, see, not just being present of your feelings, being present of other people's. What's up, mate? And then if you've got enough rapport and relationship with them, you should be able to share. No, there's nothing, Dad. Oh, go on, son. What's up? I was just in class today. My teacher told me. And it's really worried me. Worry is present to future, see?
Yeah.
With a negative impact. That's what worry is, yeah?
Wow.
So I'm really worried. And I said, what's up? And he said, well, she said if Trump gets in, we're going to have World War III. I said, all right. I said, which teacher? And he told me her name. I said, all right, no. I said, what? I said, is that, I didn't realise you had a political teacher at school. He said, no, we haven't. He said, that was my maths teacher. I said, all right. I said, when you go to school tomorrow, will you do me a favour? Here's your chair. I said, if you can't do it, son, it's not a problem. I'll come in and do it for you. Tell your maths teacher you're there to learn maths. You're not, if you want to study and learn about politics, you'll go and do a class on it with an open mind. That she has no right to push her political beliefs, opinions, views, or perspectives on an 11 or whatever age he was. I said, you tell her it's maths and that's what you're there to teach. And I said, if she doesn't like, I said, you be respectful. And I said, if in the future you hear her say other things, excuse me, miss, it's the maths class. And now, if the teacher, I said, if you teach it, he said, well, what happens if she doesn't like it? I said, oh, she won't like it. I said, but she ain't there to represent herself. She's there to teach other people's children.
Yeah. And
you've got to understand the personal and the professional. In a workspace, you are representing a system. You are obligated to the system. Now, you can bring your personality to serve the system. You can put some life into a system. But if you utilize the education system to bring your opinions and your beliefs, to give your soapbox, that is an education. That's trying to control. So I do feel the education, you and I would, I think in many ways nowadays, I'm quite educated, I don't know how educated, but I do think. Not saying that I think the right things, I'm not saying that at all. But there's loads of things I don't know. What I'm able to do is pick the people I know that know them. How do I know that? Because I can see it in their life. Yeah. And I go to people that are experts in a specific subject, and I've done it for years and years and years. And after a while, you start to accumulate all that. So I'm just like, I'm an assortment of good movies with a message. I'm an assortment of good songs with a message. I'm an assortment of good conversations. I'm an assortment of a lot of people at probably 60, 70, 80 years old. I think they're the people that have got a history where they're showing up and showing up and showing up and showing up. So a friend of mine, David Gluckman, developed the Bailey's brand, helped support the Kerrygold brand, and developed so many different brands in his life. He's 86 now, I think, wrote a book called That Shit Won't Sell. When I want brand advice, I'll go to somebody like that who's already had like 60 years in the industry. And I've got loads of friends like that I've developed. Some are people that talk about the stuff we talk about. I remember Wayne Dyer on stage, Kensington Town Hall, when he was talking about we're a spiritual being having a human existence. And dis-ease in the mind is disease in the body.
Yeah.
Now, when he said it, I was only, 24, 25, and I was thinking, oh, what a wonderful thing. My brain lit up like a firework.
I bet it did.
And he came down off the stage and people were queuing up, can you sign my book, can you sign my book? And then I didn't have a book. I just said, oh, Wayne, I said, 2 seconds, my friend, no disrespect. I said, when you said we're a spiritual being having the human existence, I said, it lit my brain up. I said, it was like Blackpool. I said, you probably don't know what Blackpool is, yeah? I said, when you said we're a spiritual, when you said dis-ease in the mind is disease in the body, I said, oh. I said, but if that was true, sir, I said, no, I'm not disrespecting you. If that was true, no child would be born deformed. No animal would get sick. So I said, I think there's some substance in it. I just don't know how to tease it out.
Yeah.
I said, I get you talking from one to many. I said, is there something behind the scenes that you can give me to help me tease that out?
Yeah.
And he went, well.
Wow.
And he said, you're on, yeah, he went, wow. He said, you're on a journey, aren't you? He said, I've been there. He said, they used to call me the scurvy elephant. The scurvy elephant at school, he said. He gave me a book called Erogenous Zones, and I couldn't never read the cover. He gave me the book, and I've still got it somewhere in a box. He said, take this. He said, this will help you. I said, I don't read very well because of dyslexia. And he said to me, and I think Wayne Dyer would be one of my heroes, really.
Yeah.
And nor am I trying to leverage that moment. I'm just telling a story. Yeah, it's a true story. But he said to me, you've always got to be asking questions. He said, even when they feel like they're disrespectful, he said, I don't feel disrespected. I feel honored that you can be honest.
There it is. And
he said, honesty and transparency is the first sign of presence.
Liam, what amazing opportunity, and thank you for what has been a fantastic another Extreme Business Set Mind series. Here we are, listeners, of course, Lee Tony Ware, the subconscious code breaker, evolving you and your business. Just absolutely beautiful. We are going to finish up. We are not on time because how do you stop this type of conversation? It's just been amazing, my friend. Listeners, viewers, everybody here today, please subscribe, like, comment, because we can get back to you. You will find Lee Tony Ware on LinkedIn, everywhere. You'll find him. He's always there. If you get in touch with him, he has amazing masterminds, subconscious code breakers. There's a lot happening in Lee's life that you can get involved with. For sure, it's so important to be there. How are we wrapping up today, Lee? In about 30 seconds, what should we finish with?
Presence. Some would say get an elastic band and put it on your wrist. I wouldn't say that. I said, you want presence? If you've got somebody you care about, could be your best friend, could be your lover, your partner, your husband, could be just your cat. A lot of people talk about cats. I've got a friend of mine's got 11, and they reckon by stroking a cat, and the cat purring actually resets you in some way. And it's loads of studies been done on this. Get something you like doing. Yeah, whether it's stroking a cat, put your feet in a bowl of warm water. Just take 5 minutes in this busy world for YOU. If you can't take 5 minutes for YOU, you're on the treadmill all the time, the deja vu reality. Yeah. Take 5 minutes. If you love someone, care about someone, ask them just to sit with you and look into their eyes for 5 minutes without a word said. And then at the end of the 5 minutes, say, what did you see? And be honest and transparent, not judgmental. What do you see? What do I see in Paul Rees? Yeah. I see a very wise, caring, honourable person that will serve you above and beyond, that has character and integrity. It's come as the consequence of a lot of pain.
So true.
And now he's on a journey to put a bit of bubble wrap around humanity. That's what I see in Paul Rees. But I could be wrong. It's not my opinion. It's what I see.
Leon, that's beautiful. I wish my father had said that to me. It's absolutely wonderful, and thank you so much. And we're going to finish up, and of course, our wonderful listeners and those who plug into YouTube, watch the show and things. So thank you ever so much, and we will be back, of course.
Thank you, Paul.
This time next week, and thank you, Lee. And please get in touch with Lee Anywhere. He's always open to people connecting. Again, find him on LinkedIn. Until this time next week, we'll say bye for now, and bye.